Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. If you all want to find your seats, it's currently 9 a.m. and we are here for our regularly scheduled BOCC meeting, and it is Tuesday, April 8th, and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. First up, we do have our invocation by Pastor Lance Renfro from Living Hope Christian Church. Welcome. Good morning.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you to believe you and trust you for these county commissioners. Lord, I pray that there would be just a heart cry in them to lead, to be men and women of not pragmatism, but a desire to lead us into a new realm of hope and victory and faith and might, to make hard decisions that are going to see our county grow and become mighty and become a gem and become a county that is a representation of righteousness. God, I pray that there would be something that clicks inside of them to lead us to move beyond the status quo and move beyond our expectations, but to make hard decisions to lead us into a place of victory. God, I thank you for each one of them. And God, I pray that you would bless them. Bless them with diligence and determination. Bless them with the desire to go beyond their own life, but to set expectations and set a vision for generations to come, that they would see themselves at a place in history where they are making decisions that are going to affect my children and my grandchildren as we build our lives here. And Lord, I pray that you would bless them with a hope that things aren't going to always remain the same, but we can move forward, and we can move forward in faith and in might and in victory. God, I thank you for these men and women, and I pray that your grace would rest upon them as they make decisions, as they lead us into the next 10, 20, 30 years. And Lord, I pray that their hearts would be set on the kingdom of God. Jesus, thank you for them. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Now, if you are able to stand, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brandy, if you'll please roll call the commission for quorum.
Commissioner Gameros,
Present.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Present.
Vice Chair Chaparro,
Present.
Chair Shaw Jordan on this.
Here. We do have quorum this morning, so we'll move on. The commission convenes as the Board of County Commissioners and the County Board of Finance in open session. Mr. Andrews, do we have any changes to the agenda this morning?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
No changes so far. Thank you.
Wonderful. So there's no changes this morning, so we'll keep going. We do have first up the consent agenda, where the board will be asked to approve by one motion the following items of reoccurring or routine business. And we do have items number 1 through 8 for consideration this morning. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to pull item 6 from the consent agenda for discussion, please.
Okay. There has been a request to pull item 6. Would you like to make that into a motion, ma'am, for the rest of them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept as a consent agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8, and move agenda item number 6 for further discussion apart from the consent agenda.
Wonderful. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Reynolds. Any discussion? Public comment? Brandy, if you can go ahead and roll call us on the acceptance of the consent agenda for items 1 through 5 and 7 and 8.
Commissioner Gameros,
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro,
Yes.
Chair Shaw Jordan on this.
Yes. Motion does carry. Okay. Now we have for separate consideration, item number 6.
Chair Sheldon Hernandez,
Oh, I
sorry to
apologize.
interrupt, but we do have a few resolutions.
Go ahead with that, please.
Item number 5, 2025-44. Item number 7, 2025-45. And item number 8, 2025-46.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brandy. Now we will move on to separate consideration for item number 6, which is the budget revision and resolution for the transitional supportive housing facility in the amount of $1,028,000 funding from county reserves to complete phase 1 of the project. And we do have, Mr. Weaver here with facilities. Welcome.
Yes. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Vice Chair and Commission. I'm here this morning on representation for Robert Herrera, who is out. But we wanted to bring to light what we've kind of done here and discuss what we've had and where we're at and where we're looking to go with this project. So we initially acquired the land. We've constructed the rock wall and we've initiated the design for the facility. Right now, we have it broken out into a couple phases. Phase 1 being the site construction and landscaping. Jamie Michael has secured some additional funding through the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority. This is contingent on the approval of this 1.2 that we are asking for the funds.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Chaparro.
Yes, good morning, and I'm not ill. It's just allergies, so
Mr. Chairman, as a point of order, I think we need to have a motion and a second to begin discussion on the item.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, is there a motion? I will go ahead and make the motion to approve item number 6 on the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
have a second, please.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Continue with discussion.
Thank you. Fellow commissioners, thank you for allowing me to move forward with this discussion on agenda item number 6. It's much appreciated. A few weeks ago, it was brought to my attention by FY Plus that they do have a facility that is located at 1084 Amador. It is a previous transitional housing, or rather units, not just one unit, for a total of 13,610 square feet. And I think that this might be another possibility. I had spoken with Brian Kavanaugh from FY Plus. Deb Weir and I went to that facility, and I actually found it to be rather cool. It's about I think 8 buildings, and I don't know if we can pull up the aerial view. Do we have that, Mr.? Oh, is it? Okay, here we go. So if we look at where that red dot is, that is the unit that is a possibility. I'm not saying that that is the answer. What I'm asking fellow commissioners is either to table this until we can research this further, but there's also a lot to the bottom, as you see, for further expansion. There's enough room to house 30 people at present. So what this property looks like is they're duplexes, and they're either 2-bedroom, 2 baths, or 3-bedroom, 2 baths. So they can either house 2 people per unit or 3 people per unit. And I shared with County Manager Andrews last night, I received an approximate cost of leasing per year of these units at $945, and I forwarded it to Scott as soon as I could. And if I may read it, it says, "Good evening. After reviewing gross and full service lease options, I can provide a confident estimate of $1,250 to $1,450 per square foot, with our combined administrative building and total units approximately 13,610 square feet, which translates to an annual rent of $170,000 to $200 and change. This primary variables affecting the range are taxes and utilities. As a non-for-profit, we currently don't pay property taxes, and I'm unsure what the amount will be. Additionally, utility arrangements require further discussion depending on the program structure if the participants in the unit will be paying for the utilities and/or housing vouchers will be used for the units, because vouchers often cover utilities. That being said, there's some variables that I'm uncertain of how to calculate. I will continue analyzing our expenses tomorrow morning and promptly notify you of any adjustments. Please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions or clarifications. Fellow commissioners, what I'm requesting at this time is just an opportunity to look at other options. I know that I may not be aware of the complete challenges that we may have, but if we're looking at 1 million, if we're able to go into leasing an area that's already built, that's ready to be moved in, that can serve up to 30 people instead of 4 or 8 that we're initially planning for, this $1 million might take us into 5 years of lease. And so I am asking that we at least consider this other option at this point. Again, I don't have the full picture of what we're looking for. I'd like to meet with Jamie and her team a little more and ask more questions and see if this is a possible fit. But I'd like to be given that opportunity to inquire further, because to me, we're looking at dollars. And if we're looking at $1 million and we can lease these units that are already built, and they're in this area, if you look at that red dot, they're contained, there's a fence around them. They're close to resources, to Amador Health. They're close to Camp Hope. They're also close to Casa de Peregrinos. And it may just be a win-win situation. I'm not saying no on the property across the street whatsoever, but I'm asking for an opportunity to look at that option. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Do we have Brian Kavanaugh here today, or anyone from FYI Plus for this project?
And Mr. Chair, he's unable to attend this morning. He had a previous meeting. I'm operating on information I received at 9:45 last night, so it was rather a tight period of time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Jamie Michael, County's Health and Human Services Director. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioner Chaparro. After the visit that you and our Assistant County Manager took to the site, Deb did ask me to do a little bit of research. So I do have some information that may help you all. And I also have Nicole Martinez here because she has much more information about the land and the master plan for the space. Some cautions that, or some information that I think would be important for you all as you make this decision. There are some restrictions on what that property can be used for, and those would most likely carry over even if we're the leaser or the owner. And moving in this population that we're talking about housing may contradict or impact the master plan that the Community of Hope and the city have for the space. And then we also have our agreement with the state. They gave us the funding to purchase the land across the street, so that will be impacted as well. But if you'd like, Nicole Martinez is here, and I think she has some information that will probably be useful for you. So Nicole, if you don't mind. Thank you. Community of Hope is one of our primary partners in this project and all things housing, quite frankly. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair. My name is Nicole Martinez. I'm the director of the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. So that property is currently being utilized by the Community of Hope. So we are housing our families through about 3 of our different grants. So it's been amazing to have a property that's really close, like you said, with all the wraparound services that really assists all the families that are coming to us, because it can be really hard to find units that are affordable out in the community. So to have that really close and affordable has been amazing to have that in the Community of Hope campus. So we would, it would be difficult if we changed that project at this time to something different. We want to keep housing families. We want to keep them close to the Community of Hope, even after the 5-year affordability plan has expired. So the City of Las Cruces is the fiscal agent for that. They have a home loan tied to the property. So at the end of that home loan, there is an option to transfer ownership, depending on what that cost might be for the city of Las Cruces. I have had conversations with Mr. Kavanaugh about looking at the city taking that over. And as Jamie Michael had mentioned, we do have a 10-year master plan. So we do have a build out and ideas about what would happen behind that facility that would complement the family services there. I also just want to note that I serve on the New Mexico Housing Trust Fund Committee. I was appointed by the governor. Was so excited to discuss the project and the funding and highlight the work that the county is doing and really working toward more housing efforts for our community. And so I really hope that we would go forward in accepting that funding. Again, as you know, my colleagues that were voting for that, we're really excited to approve this project for Doña County in the place that it has been designed on motel. I know that some of the funding that was utilized at that property close to Community of Hope is also tied to HUD affordability and things like that. So again, we really just want to make sure that we're honoring the intention of that program as is, that we're not displacing families, that it continues to be a Community of Hope partnership as it is part of Community of Hope. In essence, so close to it and so tied to it with the families and our vouchers that are being utilized on that property. In the future, I'd love to see county participation there, especially as we look at how we're housing our families and have other opportunities to support families on that property. I think that would be amazing and conversations that we should look at having.
Thank you, Ms.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, Vice Chair.
Good morning, Ms. Martinez. It's good to see you here and see. So I do have a lot of questions because in speaking to Mr. Kavanaugh and when Ms. Weir and I visited the property, I was under the impression that all the units were not being utilized. And so maybe that's where there is a misunderstanding on my part, perhaps, as to how they're being utilized, because as we walked around the units, I saw no people. I know that there was a family that walked by that was down the street. But Deb, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I understood that all the units were empty at that time. And then in speaking with Mr. Kavanaugh yesterday afternoon, I received the same information. I didn't receive information that any families were there, and that's why FYI Plus is open to working with the county to lease those units for this particular program. And I just thought it was beneficial because all the services are there. So I may have misunderstood something, but Ms. Weir, jump in, if you don't mind.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I was actually a little bit late to arrive at that meeting, so I was not part of a discussion about whether they were all empty or not, but there did appear to be some outdoor furniture and other potential belongings, so I'm not sure about the occupancy.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Mr. Kavanaugh would be the one to answer how many of those units are currently occupied. I assure you, I pay rent for several families living at that property on a monthly basis. So they're not all vacant, that's for sure. And we have a list of families to move in. So sometimes there is a transition period where FYI Plus, as the owner, does have to come in and clean out the units before we can move a new family in. But we certainly have plenty of families ready to utilize that property. And for many years, between when they were helping with youth and foster care and things like that, and transition to do housing, we didn't have the agreement with them. And so finally, they said, hey, we're having a hard time keeping the units filled. And so we said, let's sign a memorandum in the last couple of years where FYI would lease to only Community of Hope families. And so we have been placing families there, but that memorandum came just a couple years ago, but we have continued to produce families and we have that agreement signed.
Thank you for answering that question. And Mr. Chair, if I may continue.
Of course.
Thank you. I really appreciate the information. It's information that was not at my fingertips. Commissioners, what I'd like to ask then is if we table this until the next meeting so that I can get clear information, so that we can get clear details, because I'm lacking information. I thought I had asked all the right questions, and it's apparent I didn't. And that's on me. But I'm getting different information from Mr. Kavanaugh. And so what I'd like to do is, my fellow commissioners in agreement is just to give me some time and sit down with Mr. Kavanaugh, with Jamie and Ms. Martinez and pound out something. But my point is, if we can save our taxpayers money and instead of a one-time 1 million to extend it to 5 years of a lease, I think that might be possibly a win for the county. But I'd like to explore that. Thank you.
Thank you. So just from hearing all this information, something that I would like to weigh out when we're looking at this, Vice Chair, is renting, renting versus purchasing, owning, what the return on investment is. If Mr. Kavanaugh and FYI Plus are not looking to sell, and it sounds like they are in a very large mortgage with the city of Las Cruces on that property that ties them to what the use is, and I would actually like to explore what the HUD, I didn't know that it was a HUD property, so I think we need to kind of understand what exactly the use is able to be used for. But I do want to point out there that renting a property for $1 million for 5 years versus owning a property for life is quite different. And that does concern me fiscally about what we're looking at doing. And to Ms. Martinez's point, and understanding that there are families in these units, moving those families out for county access right away does concern me a little bit as well. So I'm okay with understanding the full picture of what is going on, but my big concern is what, and Ms. Martinez, this isn't for you, but Jamie, what is our tie with the funds? What is our date that we need to use these funds, accept these funds, match these funds? What timeline are we under, and do we have time to look at it?
Jamie Michael again. Mr. Chair, the funds that we're asking you to approve today are county funds, so you have control over that. They won't go away at the end of the fiscal year. But the award that was made from the state for the $715,000, that award is contingent on you all approving this budget request today. So we won't be able to sign that agreement or accept those funds unless the county matches with the 1.2 that we're asking today.
And Mr. Chair, I have a question, please.
Of course.
Thank you. So if it's not signed today and we extend this for another 2 weeks, is that a die for the $715K, or can we extend it and just get some more information? I mean, does it have to be signed by the end of today?
No,
Okay, thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, it doesn't. We just can't accept it unless we have the matching funds for today. So it doesn't, there's no, I mean, I'm sure they don't want us to wait too long because they want to reallocate the funding if we're not going to accept it. But there's not a firm deadline at this point. Obviously, as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, it's more difficult to get construction projects underway. So, the delay does have a kind of an effect in when we are going to be able to actually move those modular buildings and get people housed. And the programs, the diversion programs are already operating, so people continue to be put up in motels or just lacking in housing. But I'd like to just throw out there that I don't think it necessarily needs to be an either or. I think there may be an option to do both. We know that women and children, families are also impacted by the criminal justice system. So allowing the master plan for Community of Hope to continue to serve women and children, and how do we support that, I think is a good idea. But I also believe that the spot across the street for this diversion population, primarily single men who are facing misdemeanor type charges, is also a needed service and a good location for that type of service. So I don't want us to think we have to choose one or the other. I think we could eventually do both, and then as the time runs out on that 5-year commitment of the the property at Community of Hope, I think that might be the time when we can come in and get creative in providing services as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. And just to add something, and I don't have those numbers, Mr. Chair, but in speaking to Mr. Kavanaugh, he also expressed an interest of lease to purchase or swapping land. I'd just like to get the full picture before moving forward, and I think that if it's not something that we don't sign today, it's not going to torpedo this project whatsoever. I don't think 2 weeks or 14 days is much to ask.
Okay.
I'd just like to see if there's other options. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with Ms. Michael that, these are not exclusive decisions. I think we can actually make the decision to go ahead and fund this and move forward with the projects across the street. And I think we can still cooperate and work with Community of Hope and the city in order to try to use some of the property that's available there so we can work together as a group and basically do what's best for everybody. So for that reason, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to call the question, sir.
Okay. So you're wanting to move forward with approving the budget revision?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments?
This requires a second, sir.
I'll second.
Well, we already have a motion and a second on the table to approve.
No, it requires a second to call the question.
Oh, you're calling the question. It does take a second. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, we do have a second. Okay. With that, Brandy, if you can roll call us on item number 6 for approval.
Commissioner Gamados,
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro,
No.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez.
Yes. Motion carries.
That does have a resolution number. The number is 2025-47.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you, Commissioners. And Commissioner Chaparro, I would like to visit with you, and I know Nicole is willing, so maybe we can all get together with you and Brian and figure out a good path forward, because that is a great opportunity, and we want to be able to support that work for families as well.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
47.
Okay, moving on, we do have employee recognition where the commission will recognize Doña County employees for their years of service to Doña County.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. We have 4 employees that we are celebrating today, and 2 of them were actually able to join us in chambers. So I'd like to have them stand when the opportunity comes up. And the first one is Mr. Eddie Ortiz, and he is with us. Eddie, if you could stand up. Eddie is a vector control technician with the Vector Control Department. So thank you for 10 years, Eddie. The second one we have today is Ramon Ramirez at 20 years of service, and I don't believe he was able to join us in the chambers. Cynthia Chavez is the index and maintenance lead for the clerk's office. And Ms. Chelo Guerrero is also here with 25 years of service. Chelo? So please take a moment to recognize and thank all of our employees for their dedication and service to the residents of Doña County. Thank you.
Yeah, moving on, we do have our proclamations. We have 3 today. The first up is to proclaim the week of April 13th through the 19th as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Doña County. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Sanchez and a second by Commissioner Reynolds. Take it away, Mr. Lopez.
Do we want to read the proclamation first, or do we want to do notes?
Mr. Chair,
Doesn't matter to me.
I'd like to ask Chief Vanessa to come to the top, come to the front, and Joe, and also Miss Jennifer Gorham. I'd also like to read from something here and then get them to make comments. But on National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, we're highlight the great work of the Mesilla Valley Regional Dispatch Authority, which Ms. Gorham is the executive director, and Chief Vanessa is actually the chair of the board right now. And MIRVDA telecommunications employees do every week of the year, and we're celebrating that for the residents of Doña County. When a call for help in an emergency comes in, we may never again think about the people at the other end of the phone line, but telecommunicators train extensively so they can help us when we need the most, accessing all the needed information, sending us appropriate help while keeping a cool head and conveying instructions. They help keep first responders informed so they know what each situation calls for, ranging from the number of respondents to the equipment to the type and exact location. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in thanking the MIRVDA first responders, the team that supports them. Congratulations to them this week. We thank each of them for helping Doña County residents get the right help at the right time when needed. And I've always made the statement and made the comment that MIRVDA is the heartbeat of the county. They actually pull all the resources together, make sure what we need is there when we need it, and they stay on the phone whenever they get a call until the situation is resolved. So it's very important that we recognize them and understand how important their job is and how they keep each of us safe throughout the whole county. With that, you can read and then they can speak. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we'll give you all a chance to speak if you would like. Whereas National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, adopted by Congress in 1994, is observed on the second week of April to recognize and celebrate the people who answer emergency calls, dispatch emergency professionals and equipment to render life-saving help to residents across the county. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the vital communication link for law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel, monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. Across the nation, telecommunicators alert public safety personnel and guide their timely arrival to save millions of lives every day. And whereas telecommunicators play a key role in emergencies as the scope of their responsibilities ranges from specialized software use to basic emergency medical triage, because they could be dispatching public safety help on one call, and the next may require their giving instructions on how to minimize bleeding, provide CPR, or even deliver a baby. And whereas Mesilla Valley Regional Dispatch Authority is the first consolidated dispatch center in the state between Doña County and the city of Las Cruces, they also partner with the cities of Anthony and Sunland Park, the town of Mesilla, and the village of Hatch. And whereas covering 3,814 square miles, MIRVDA serves approximately 219,500 residents. In 2024, MIRVDA telecommunicators received 347,187 telephone calls and 344 online requests, resulting in 337,183 incidents dispatched. Whereas this week, we honor the brave and mighty team who serve our community 365 days a year, 24/7 in emergency situations when we need them most. They work under high pressure, get us the help we need, and then quickly fade away without recognition or praise, except for this week. Now, therefore, I, Scott Andrews, County Manager of Doña County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 13th to 19th as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, or good morning, Commissioners and Mr. Chair. I'm Chief Vanessa Ordóñez with the Anthony Police Department, and I have been on the MIRVDA board for almost 7 years, with the last year being the board chairwoman. Thank you for having us here today. I have witnessed firsthand, both while sitting on the board and during my response to calls for service, how important our dispatchers are to our community. The tragic event of March 21st was a reminder of how critical their roles are in being the first link to survival. This month is a month to recognize our dispatchers for assisting our citizens and our first responders during emergencies, and we celebrate their efforts to keeping our community safe. I would like to introduce an amazing leader in our community who takes great pride in the oversight of over 50 amazing Mesilla Valley Regional Dispatch Authority dispatchers or employees. A remarkable woman who leads with great passion and purpose to help others. Miss Jennifer Gorham, the Executive Director for MRVDA.
So good morning, Chair and Commissioners. First off, I wish more of my team could be here today, but as you know, we're handling emergency and non-emergency calls nonstop. So they are busily working away at the office this morning. So on behalf of Mesilla Valley Regional Dispatch Authority, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks for proclaiming the week of April 13th through 19th as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. This recognition shines as a well-deserved spotlight on the dedicated professionals who serve as the unseen but absolutely vital first link in public safety chain. Since MRVDA's establishment in 1989, our mission has been to provide high-quality emergency communications to the residents of Doña County. And as stated previously, in 2024 alone, our telecommunicators managed over 347,000 telephone calls, each representing a call for help. Being a telecommunicator is more than just answering a phone, however. It is a career that demands rapid critical thinking, emotional resilience, technical expertise, and the ability to remain calm under the most intense situations. These professionals must be able to juggle multiple telephone calls, coordinate with law enforcement, fire, and EMS agencies, and provide life-saving instructions all at the same time. It is a demanding, high-skilled career that too often goes unrecognized. This is why it is imperative that telecommunicators in the state of New Mexico be reclassified as first responders. They are the true first line in public safety. Thank you again for your continued support. I've enjoyed meeting with all of you over the years and discussing my passion for our organization and my passion for our team, and I look forward to your continued support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Jennifer and Chief Ordonez, sorry, I didn't mean to butt in here. I just wanted to say thank you. I think one of the things that we see, especially in times of crisis, I think with everything that happened at Young Park, you can hear from the news stories, the dedication, the professionalism, the dedication of those dispatchers that work at MRVDA. And I want to say thank you to them because it's clear that they're calm and making sure that they're getting all the information from every caller, trying to make sure they dispatch all of the necessary first responders, whether that's medical, law enforcement. And I know they do that from the southern part of the county all the way north. And when we look at it, and I know when I keep saying this because I want people to understand how big Doña County is when it's bigger than 2 states in the union. And it's amazing that this is the service you all provide, and you often provide it shorthanded. But thank you so much to you, all your staff, and everything that you all do on a daily basis.
Thank you. May I say something? So yes, the incident on March 21st was tragic and unnecessary, absolutely. And I have to say that, you know, our team, we're small but mighty. And we pull in when we need to, and our team has been fabulous. But we also couldn't do it without the support of our partner agencies. So for instance, you know, we've partnered with DASO to help develop our internal peer support team. And so our internal peer support team has worked very closely with our team regarding the incident. But then, you know, we have LCPD has come in and has coordinated us with the Wounded Blue that are coming into our center this evening again to speak with our team. So again, we couldn't do it without the partner agencies really supporting us and providing us additional resources and guidance. And so we appreciate that immensely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Of course, please.
I also would like to take this opportunity to thank our Vice Chair for the MRVDA Board, Commissioner Reynolds. So we appreciate the time that he has also given to MRVDA in supporting our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
We also need a vote still. Technically, we don't. No, we don't sign it anymore.
So we don't have to vote, right?
Nope, just a picture.
Would you mind tilting the frame down just a little? The lights are reflecting on the glass. Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we do have to proclaim April 6th through the 12th, 2025 as National Library Week in Doña County. And I believe Commissioner Vice Chair Chapato has some talking points.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is Ms. Pamela Wood here? Oh, okay. If you'll approach the podium, please. Come on up.
We got your back.
Good morning, Chair.
Good
and
morning,
Vice
Ms.
Chair.
Wood. National Library Week's theme, Drawn to the Library, celebrates the many ways in which we use libraries for research, study, exploration, entertainment, connection, and growth. Libraries nurture young minds through story time, programs, and activities that spark our curiosity and foster a love of reading and learning throughout life. This week, we also celebrate the dedicated librarians and library workers who continuously provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for everyone. This year, we're proud to announce the upcoming opening of a community library at the Dolores Wright Community Resource Center in Chaparral in partnership with the Brannigan Library in Las Cruces. And I'm going to share a story with you. I remember my first trip to the library. I was in kindergarten, didn't understand any English, didn't understand what my teachers were saying, and I didn't learn how to properly read until I was in the 3rd grade because Spanish is my first language. I could read Spanish easily, but English proved to be a little difficult for me just because of, the rules that there are. But I remember walking into that library and seeing hundreds of books, but at 5 years old, they seemed like thousands of books. And I would go every day to that library and read book after book after book. And to this day, I have 2,000 books in my home. I know they made a difference in this child's life when I was a young child. And my friends at Bradley Elementary School so many, many years ago, we would sit in the library around a little chair with a dictionary to try to manage to get through the longer words that we had to decipher to read. And I still remember Mrs. Beckett from that library, who was always so kind and shared with us so many stories that we were unable to comprehend until much later. So thank you. Thank the librarians, because they made a huge difference in my life. And now I can speak English very well. And I know the definition to so many words. So thank you to all the librarians that have touched so many curious minds. Not only mine, but I'm sure hundreds of people. Ms. Wood, is there anything you'd like to add?
I would like you to come up here. Yes, we have some representatives from Brannigan Library here today. And thank you. We appreciate this opportunity that you've given us to recognize Library Week, which is national. And Brannigan is helping to extend our services to first Dolores Wright Community Center and hopefully the other community centers, because literacy, and as you have stated, Vice Chair Chaparro, it's extremely important, not just health literacy, but literacy, financial literacy, computer literacy, everything in general. So we'd like to, I know Elizabeth Puckett is here with us today. If she would join us from Brannigan, along with Natalie Ramirez, our community outreach promotora from Dolores Wright Community Center. Claudia Maris, our Dynamic Community Outreach Coordinator. Oh, yes. Do you want to do that? So we have been meeting with Mrs. Ida Garcia, who's instrumental in getting the library renovated in the Dolores Wright Community Center. And I don't believe she's with us here today, but Claudia and I met with her and her volunteer team Friday, and we had a very productive meeting. And so we have a working plan forward, and I'd like to recognize her and her volunteers as well. But for now, where is Miss Natalie? Come here, Miss Natalie. Okay. So Miss Natalie is going to accept the proclamation on behalf of the Dolores Wright Community Center Library. And, oh, I'm sorry, we do have an open house this Thursday, 4 to 6. Commissioner Reynolds, I believe you're going to be there as well. And we're going to showcase the future library and the different amenities that it will have. And Ms. Natalie will be doing a reading group, right, with toddlers. And we have some books in English and Spanish, Fly Me to the Moon and Back, for the children that come to the center. Thank you. Thank you all for recognizing this.
Thank you, Ms. Wood.
Okay, Mr. Chair, before I read the proclamation, I would just like to say thanks to libraries, I learned to be critical when reading because apparently eggs are not supposed to be green. Whereas, sponsored by the American Library Association, National Library Week has been observed in April since 1958. This week helps us highlight the different roles libraries play in our lives. They serve as vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. And whereas they spark creativity, fuel imagination, and offer a space where people of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities, libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. And whereas libraries nurture young minds through science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics, or STEAM programs, storytime and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that can last a lifetime. Libraries help protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country join together to celebrate National Library Week with the theme, Drawn to the Library. This year, we are pleased to announce that Doña County will soon open a community library at the Dolores Wright Community Resource Center in partnership with the City of Las Cruces Thomas Brannigan Memorial Library. Now, therefore, I, Scott Andrews, the County Manager of Doña County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 6th through 12th as National Library Week. So, congratulations.
Chair Shalja Hernandez, Commissioners, we still need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Well, since we're not voting on it, we don't need a motion in a second. It just kind of rolls since it's Scott's.
Okay.
I'll second though, Commissioner Chaparro, just for old time's sake.
Why? I mean, it was happening anyway. We're changing Robert's rules of order to Chris's rules of order.
If I could have you all take a couple of steps to your left. Ready? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we do have one more, which is to prim the week of April 13th through the 19th as National Animal Control Appreciation Week.
Okay, we have a large group. Come on up now. While they're coming up, I will go ahead and turn it over for some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. The National Animal Care and Control Association promotes Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week to recognize the hard work and dedication of animal care and control employees who risk their lives every day to protecting animal welfare, enforcing animal control laws, and educating the public about responsible pet care. Animal control officers risk their lives to protect animals that are both sick or injured and humans from animals that may be violent or have contagious diseases. In Doña County, animal control officers also conduct investigations around abused or neglected animals, identify animal bites, and help kids search for lost pets. They are first responders, like police officers and firefighters in an emergency, rescue animals from fighting rings, they rescue animals from fighting rings, ensuring they get the help they need, and they help protect vulnerable pets and foster efforts around microchipping, spay, or neutering dogs and cats. We appreciate their dedicated service to our human and our furry communities and encourage residents to let animal control officers know that they make a positive difference in our quality of life through their work. One other side note is they did an amazing job last year during the fires in Ruidoso and helping to respond to that, taking equipment and helping with the animals that had nowhere to go during that fire. And so I want to say thank you to all the volunteers. Thank you to animal control officers every day. You all impact us and make a positive effect in our communities every day. So thank you so much for everything you do.
All right. Mary Lou, did you want to embarrass your team while you can stare at them?
Sure, thank you. Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. Mary Lou Ward, Manager for Animal Control. I just want to say thank you for taking this time and giving us the opportunity to recognize this great team of animal control, our animal care workers, our new veterinarian, and of course our live evidence technicians, of course also our animal advocates with this proclamation. We all know that there are tremendous efforts taken every day by our officers and our staff to promote public health, safety, and welfare through the education and enforcement of this county by this team. Our outreach and our educational efforts would not be a success without the efforts and partnerships and fast-acting advocates and our newly hired veterinarian. We look forward to a great outreach and outcome with the new upcoming spay and neuter program set out with our rural areas throughout the county. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may read the proclamation. Whereas the National Animal Care and Control Association celebrates the third week of April as National Animal Control Appreciation Week and encourages communities to learn more about their work. We thank our animal control officers who risk their lives and dedicate personal time and resources while they serve the public, much like other public safety and law enforcement officers. And whereas federal, state, and local government officials around the nation take this opportunity to recognize, thank, and commend the work and commitment of animal control officers and animal service staff for the valuable service they provide in our community. And whereas animal welfare personnel aid in the prevention and control of the spread of rabies and other diseases throughout the county, they protect and rescue domestic animals and livestock, capture stray animals that could present a potential danger to the community, investigate reports of animal abuse, and provide resources for animal sterilizations and vaccinations. And whereas we recognize and commend our animal control personnel for their friendly professionalism and dedicated service. We appreciate their answering calls for assistance from constituents across the county and helping protect vulnerable pets. Now, therefore, I, Scott Andrews, County Manager of Doña County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 13th through April 19th as National Animal Control Appreciation Week. Congratulations.
Can I have the commissioners take one step to your left?
They called you out.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, thank you everyone for bearing with us during proclamations. Next up, we do have our public input section of our meeting. If you are a member of the public and you would like to address the commission, if you'll please form a line and come forward. We have the white binder to your left. You'll have 3 minutes to address the public or address the commission. If you do have an agenda item that you are wanting to address the commission on, if you will please wait until that agenda item comes before us. Thank you and welcome.
Good morning to leadership and public. My name is Yoli Diaz. First, my thoughts and prayers are with all of our community on the Young Park massacre. This is to inform you that there were 4 residents who could not have accessed the pilot project for cancer treatment through Doña County's contract with Memorial Medical Center, a contract specifically for 4 residents and up to $200,000. I provided notice of these 4 residents to leadership as follows. In 2024, September 25th, November 22nd meeting, December 5th, and March 20th, 2025. Among my many concerns is that Doña County Board of County Commissioners receive a good report of the success of the project. I do not want anyone to think that these 4 residents were not in need because they were and are. I believe that this pilot project is unfortunately a failure to these residents who contacted me for help and because they were not put into the pilot project. Was this pilot project planned, designed, and implemented effectively for success? Did this pilot project clearly define what it aimed to achieve and the action necessary for this achievement? With a uniform policy and procedure of provider-patient navigation for care coordination, where referrals would work in a seamless manner and in a structured approach to achieve action. Had these 4 residents been processed, qualified, and enrolled, this contract would have been fully executed. Barriers created these residents to experience additional financial hardship in addition to the physical anguish of a cancer diagnosis, a potentially fatal disease, a life or death situation, the second cause of death globally. The December 2024 resident was not originally assisted when MMC asked, is she a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident? 3 of these 4 residents have children. Please think of the children. I still want to know what's happening with MMC to ensure all Doña County residents receive the care they need when they need it. It is past time to tell our community what is happening. Let's discuss many important subjects related to Memorial Medical Center, like the asset purchase agreement, MMC policies, MMC's discrimination towards the non-U.S. citizen, the undocumented, MMC's removal of cancer care from their policy, the county's indigent care resolution, the New Mexico Constitution, and how Doña County has much room for improvement towards how this county's responsibility for indigent care has operated the last 10 years. Let's discuss current concerns like the Senate Budget Committee bipartisan staff report of January 2025, Profits over Patients, the harmful effects of private equity on the U.S. healthcare system, which includes discussion on LifePoint and Apollo Global Management referencing Memorial Medical Center, and the 2024 Shkreli Award by the Loan Institute, ranking Memorial Medical Center the winner of the 5th most egregious example of profiteering and dysfunction in the healthcare in the United States, reported January 7, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Chairman and Council members. My name is Angelica Calderon. I am the Executive Director of La Piñon. Our mission is to empower sexual assault and child abuse survivors with a community of support and healing through comprehensive services, advocacy, and prevention education. We believe by offering unconditional support, information, and a safe environment for change, a person who has been sexually assaulted can take steps to regain control of his or her life and make the transition from victim to survivor, to also seamlessly provide high-quality intervention services to children and their families to reduce trauma and minimize long-term effects of all forms of child maltreatment, abuse, and neglect. La Piñon's goal is to reduce trauma and not to cause further harm, to ensure the place where victims and survivors receive services that feels safe for them. As you can imagine, upon hearing the jail diversion transitional project housing project to be built next door, we felt confused, voiceless, panicked with the unknown. La Piñon will be adjacent to this proposed facility. While we are in support of the project's initiative and success in providing services and assistance to the justice-involved population, we simply ask that you consider the entire community that you serve. La Piñon has proposed several questions about this project and yet have no answers. Questions regarding safety, for example. What procedures have been developed to properly vet the housing occupants? No answer. What on-site security will be offered to reduce criminal activity and ensure the safety of residents and neighbors? No answer. Questions about supervision. Will there be a complex manager or a responsible party on location throughout the day and night? No answer. What rules, policies, and procedures for the facility? No answer. There are numerous businesses, a middle school, our nonprofit agency located in the vicinity, all of which are vested in our community. The goal here should be to evaluate the transitional housing project not as its own silo, but rather in a larger scope to protect and provide services for all residents of the community you serve. While we are not lacking sensitivity and empathy to the issues facing the unhoused citizens of the community, including the need to rehabilitate those affected, we ask that you consider our organization and the vital services that we provide to the victims located in southern New Mexico. We, on an average, provide services to 1,500 community members. Of that number, over 500 are children who have been affected by trauma. 60% of that number, sexual abuse. They go to our office right across the street. Thank you for your time and consideration. Hopefully, you will accept my invitation to meet with you along with my board of directors. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This morning I'm reading from a verse from Genesis 4, verse 8. One day Cain suggested to his brothers, let's go into the fields. And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. They grew up in the perfect environment until Adam and Eve decided to eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And Cain kills his brother Abel. Imagine as your parents to have one of your sons kill another of your sons. In Judges 15:15, it talks about Samson using the jawbone of a donkey to kill 1,000 people. In 2 Samuel 23:8, it talks about one of David's mighty men using a spear to kill 800 people. In these chambers, since the inauguration, we've heard about mass deportations. Trump's going to make Christianity the national religion. I've talked to people out on the street. He's going to take my Social Security away. The left is spreading hate and fear, so why not have a gunfight in the park? There's no hope. If it goes to the point of revolution or civil war, the blue will come out very badly. My father was a history teacher. There's problems. One, supplies that go to the blue have to go to the red. Most of the food and fuel come from the red. While a large portion of the military is, not a large portion, a good portion of the military is blue, but the guys that swing the pipes, the pipe swingers, the combat arms guys, those guys are like 95% red. And they've just come off of 20 years of combat. So if they create the civil war that they're trying to create, it looks like they're trying to create, it's not going to go well for them. Thank you. Have a good day.
Good morning, County Commissioners. I've been asked by some of the organizers for the National Day of Prayer to extend an invitation to all of you as well as the employees of the county. So this year's Pour Out to the God of Hope is our theme. Events are planned for Hatch, Sunland Park, Chaparral, Anthony Las Cruces, and here at the county building. Topical points for prayer, for blessings and God's grace would be for the church, the families, the education, businesses, military, government, arts, and entertainment and media. The invitation, of course, is to all of you, the employees during their standard break period for Thursday. The 1st of May is when National Day of Prayer is. The next Board of County Commissioners, I believe, is before that time is April 22nd. Let's see. And I believe with that, the theme is, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. And I thank you for your time. And again, you are all, as well as the employees, invited. Thank you.
Buenos días. ¿En español está bien?
Good morning.
Está
Is
bueno.
Spanish fine? Is it, if I may?
Mi nombre es José Guerra.
Un momento, señor.
Está bueno.
Su nombre?
Mi nombre es José Guerra y vengo de Anthony.
Well, my name is Jose Guerra, and I'm here from Anthony.
Anthony Berino.
Anthony Berino.
Y yo tengo 30 años, arriba de 30 años, viviendo en esa casa.
And so I've lived 30, well, no, over 30 years living in that house.
Y todo el tiempo ha pagado impuestos.
And during this entire time, I've been paying taxes.
And so, no tengo problemas con pagar impuestos. El problema es que no miro ninguna clase de mejoramiento.
Well, and I don't have any problems in paying taxes. The problem is I don't see any kind of improvement, infrastructure.
De nada.
Nothing.
Entonces la policía nunca está ahí. Ahorita me reí por el dog catcher que andaba aquí, que le están aplaudiendo.
Well, and the problem is the police don't do anything here. And a while back, I was laughing because we have the chief here.
No, fue así porque le hablé al dog catcher para que fuera a recoger un animal y él nomás pasó 3 días enseguida. But
And so then I called the animal control to pick up an animal, and they just drove by for 3 days.
como si estaba esperando que el perro brincara a la troca. I mean,
As though he were waiting for the dog to jump onto the truck.
Y sí, the bottom line es que no han hecho nada por mi calle.
And the bottom line, nothing has been done for my street.
Cuando una vez yo le pregunté a un político de ustedes, le dije, pues, ¿qué va a tomar para que manden una máquina que arregle el camino cuando llueve?
And so I talked to one of you all politicians, and I asked, when are you going to send a machine to fix everything up when it rains?
To grade.
To grade.
Entonces, el hombre se rió. Dijo, ¿quién te dijo que te metieras ahí?
And so the man laughed and he said, who asked you to go there?
para vivir ahí.
to live there.
Pero ese es lo único que podía yo, that I could afford. No podía nomás tener en ese tiempo.
At that time, that was the only thing I could have that I could afford.
Y yo pienso que esa respuesta no era correcta, pero de todos modos, ¿qué va a hacer el condado? Van a subir los impuestos ahora en noviembre, tengo entendido.
Well, and so the response was not correct. So I'd like to know from the commissioners, are you going to increase taxes?
Es lo que oí ayer, que en noviembre van a subir los impuestos.
And that's what I saw yesterday, that the taxes will go up in November.
¿Y qué van a hacer por esa calle en particular, donde vivo?
And so what will you be doing about the street, that private street where I live?
Ni siquiera mandan una máquina cuando llueve para que la haga grade.
And so you don't even send a machine on that road when it rains so that it could be graded.
Y esa es mi pregunta, es mi queja. No están haciendo nada por nosotros que vivimos en esa área.
And so
Hay
that
mucho
is my
crimen
question, that is my complaint. You're not doing anything for the people that live in that area.
y hay mucho negocio ilegal que pasa ahí y la policía, muy bien.
And so there's a lot of illegal business that goes by there, and the police, nothing.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Morning. Name's Jim Hurst. It's April. The next meeting is the last meeting before County Day of Prayer. It proceeds, if precedent holds, at the next commission meeting, we will be treated to another National Day of Prayer proclamation. Somehow you think your office qualifies you to proclaim to the citizens of this county what kind of religion you want us to have. If you do as you did last year, you will even select a particular religious group as an honored faith community. New Mexico Constitution, Article 2, Section 11. Every man shall be free to worship according to the dictates of his own conscience, and no person shall ever be molested or denied any civil or political right or privilege on account of his religious opinion or mode of religious worship. No person shall be required to attend any place of worship or support any religious sect or denomination, nor shall any preference be given by law to any religious denomination or mode of worship. What does this mean concerning National Day of Prayer? In the first place, our government has no right to express a preference between some faith and none at all. This body has no control over proclamations issued by the federal government, but it does have control over proclamations that it issues for Doña Ana County. The proclamation of a day of prayer expresses a clear preference for belief over disbelief. Second, it seems that the words of the Doña Ana County Prayer Proclamation are carefully crafted to promote the kind of religion you want us to have, a religion that draws us together as a community rather than splits us apart. But just because an idea creates social harmony, that does not mean it is true or beneficial. Third, who are you to tell us what we ought to believe or not? I have no reason to believe that you or those you rely on for assistance in drafting the Day of Prayer proclamation know any better about spiritual things than any of the rest of us. So this year, please honor the spirit of the New Mexico Constitution and refrain from sermons, testimonials, and religious advice, and stick to secular matters. That's what you are elected to do, and hopefully what you are experts at. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Diane Starbuck, for the record. There seems to be some people here who believe they are being persecuted whenever the topic of separation of church and state is brought up. Nothing could be further from the truth. Non-theists are not a monolith, and contrary to fear-mongering stereotypes, we are not hateful, anti-religious, or morally depraved people seeking to take away religious rights. Rather, we understand that we will all be safer and free to express our beliefs when our government is separate from religion. I encourage every person to worship or not worship as they see fit. In fact, I will advocate for anybody's right to do so, just not on government property or on government time. I suspect these same individuals who would like to see our country adopt Christian nationalism as a federally sanctioned religion. This is exactly why the founders of this country fought against to have a federally approved religion. I'd like to read the definition of Christian nationalist from the Encyclopedia Britannica. Christian nationalism is an ideology that seeks to create or maintain a legal fusion of Christian religion with a nation's character. Advocates of Christian nationalism consider their view of Christianity to be an integral part of their country's identity and want the government to promote or even enforce the religion's position within it. I was shocked when recently a constituent referred to himself as a Christian nationalist. Perhaps he was unaware of the definition. Another person rambled that he did not understand why women get an entire month for Women's History Month. He confused, I believe, Father's Day one day with women getting an entire month, but I have an answer for him because men get the other 11 months. Women's accomplishments have been dismissed, ignored, or downright appropriated throughout history. His attitude is one of the reasons why we need an entire month. I urge the County Commission to keep religion out of the government in any and all ways possible. Have an inclusive moment of silence instead of prayer. Repeal Resolution 2018-25. Do not hold religious ceremonies on government property on government time. Thank you.
Any other public comment this morning? Seeing none, we will move on to commission input. Commissioners? Seeing none. County elected official input. No? Oh, Madam Assessor, come on up.
Good morning, Chair Shalja Hernandez, Vice Chair Chaparro, Commissioners Reynolds, Sanchez, and Gameros, Gina Eugenia Montoya Ortega, Assessor here at Doña County. We just like to come and always give updates to our taxpayers, our constituents of Doña County, what's happening in the Assessor's Office. Here on April the 24th from 9 to 4 p.m., we will have a veteran exemption waiver exemption event. It will be held in room 111 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is where veterans can come and receive their certificates for the exemptions that the county does offer. Once again, Amendment 1 is the exemption that took the $4,000 to $10,000, which did take effect this year, 2025. Amendment 2 is the one that will give percentages to the veterans. This will be effective 2026. And at this time, we have no further information. We do have veterans reaching out to us wanting to bring us their percentage certificates. However, we are not accepting these yet. They can bring those to us next year once everything is finalized with the legislation on how this is going to work. Our assessor's office normally does rendition visits, and what the rendition visits are, the values already set. They go to the communities, the surrounding communities. Yesterday they were in Anthony, today they're in Chaparral. Tomorrow we will be in Hatch, and Thursday we will be in Sunland Park. And this is the opportunity for the people of those areas who can't come into the assessor's office to swing by and ask questions. Normally at that time, they would also have the opportunity to protest their values. However, being that we have not sent out notices of value yet, the values are not set. So if anybody that does show up to those visits that we go to visit them, if they were there for a protest, we will reach back out to them once the values are set to see if they still are interested in doing the protest process. Last week at the work session, I know we did discuss about how the impact was going to be with the veteran exemption going from the 4 to the 10. And I know that there was a concern made in reference to Las Cruces Public Schools. As a member of a Las Cruces Public Schools districts, I, as a child, went to all the public schools, kindergarten through 12th grade. Appreciate the comment. But as the assessor who is concerned for the whole county, I too am concerned for the Gadsden Independent School District as well as the Hatch Public School District and how this will impact it. And last but not least, we wanted to let people know that, and we're working with PIO. They've been helping us to try to get this information out. But last year when the notices of value came out, there was a little flyer that was in everybody's notice of value. And this gives you the opportunity to receive your notice of value via email versus snail mail. This house saves trees, time, no more lost notices of value. And if anybody has any questions, please sign up. As we know right now, there's a little over 400 people that have signed up for this option, which is a great option. No more mailing stuff out. They would get it directly to their email. And actually, last but not least, anybody that has any questions for the assessor's office, we are here to serve. Please reach out to us. We are here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Assessor. Really quickly, I do have a question. I know that last year during our NM Counties meeting in Santa Fe, we had a joint meeting about the 1% fund. I know last year we were talking about a plan that needed to be put forth through a resolution to the commission, and I was just wondering when we need to get that done by for the 1% fund for the resolution, if you know.
I'm not sure about that. I know that the assessor's office is the only office in the county that does have our 2 budgets. I have my 1% fund and my general fund. As far as a resolution, I'm not sure. It would be nice to have that 1% back so that we can do our reappraisal project. I'm just trying to make sure that we're on the same page, and I can have County Manager Andrews reach out about that as well, so that way we can get a plan, because I do know that when it was presented to us, and I know Commissioner Gametos and Commissioner Sanchez, you were with us there as well, that I think we have to do it by resolution. Yes, okay. Okay, thank you. So I will have Mr. Andrews reach out and we can get that done. Thank you, Chair Charles Hernandez.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner.
thank you. As assessor, you said that people could sign up to have their evaluations sent to them by email. Is there a form online they can fill out, or do they have to come into the office to do it?
So Commissioner Reynolds, no, there is not a form that it comes from our office. Last year when you got your notice of value, our vendor, who happens to be the Master's Touch, included a special little code on each and everybody's notice of value that's unique to them. So what they would have to do is reach out to the Master's Touch. If anybody has questions, we can get them that information so that they can reach out to them if they can't locate their notice of value, because that's the only place that that special code was listed. And we will be more than happy to put them in contact with the Master's Touch so that they can get that unique code and sign up for that notice of value online.
Is there a way we can actually publish that on the website so that people will be able to find a link to go to the Master's Touch?
Commissioner Reynolds, I'm sorry, yes. We were working with Luce and Corey, and they were putting that on our website, so yes.
Okay, I didn't see it there yet. It's not there yet, though, is it?
Oh, okay, yeah, I will, Commissioner Reynolds, I will get back to, yeah, because it is important that we want people to sign up for that.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
Welcome, Madam Treasurer.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. Marisol Richardson, County Treasurer. Just to give you an update on the office, we have sent out our second half mailings. So people should have already received them in the mail. We did just actually send out this week the email mailings. And just to give everybody an update, we did send out a newsletter, and we sent out the newsletter electronically to anybody that signed up. We'll be having off-site payment locations from the 21st through the 24th. On the 21st, we'll be in Chaparral, the 22nd in Anthony, the 23rd in Sunland Park, and the 24th in Hatch. We did send it out in a different format, but I am getting calls, so I know people are receiving them. So
we're excited to get the second half going, and I just wanted to give an update. I did also in the newsletter include, because you guys will probably get calls, the envelopes have Eric's name, just wanting to be mindful of people's money. We just sent out a blast saying we're going to continue using them until we run out, just to be mindful of taxpayers' money. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Thank you for being here. But I just wanted to say I had a text conversation with Ms. Richardson, and she did mention her family is happy for the first time in years that to receive their tax bills because her name's on it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, let's see how long it lasts. But yeah, a lot of people are excited to see the name. I was excited to see the name. But I'm grateful for the opportunity and here to serve. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Of course.
do you have the times that you'll actually be in these locations? Will it be at some 7 in the morning till 9 at night? What time?
So we will be there from 9 to 4 and those different locations. Just because it's so far, it's hard to get there at 7 and to get back to the office because it's usually a one-way travel each way. So
Since I have a meeting in Chaparral on Monday, which location are you going to be at?
we will be at Lake Section Water on Monday.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good to see you. Okay, moving on to staff input.
Just, Mr. Lopez is coming on up. We're going to recognize one of our new staff members.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, Stephen Lopez, Assistant County Manager, and I'd just like to make sure you can put a face to the name. So I'd like to ask our interim fire chief, Andrew Bowen, to stand up. So thank you for taking on the job. As mentioned last week, he is stepping in to help us for the next 4 to 6 months, get the department structured up, do a good quality search for our next fire chief. So thank you very much.
Anything else?
No, sir. We had a speaker scheduled. As you know, we had a communication issue. So that is all for today.
Awesome, wonderful, thank you. Moving on, we do have our commission input or commission appointed board report backs. If anyone has had a board meeting that we sit on, if they have any report backs for that meeting.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Sanchez.
I have a couple just small ones. One, we had the South Central Regional Transit District Board meeting last Wednesday. We talked, I think really one of the concerns that we have is, and I'm going to probably think this is something we're going to see across many of our other boards, is there were changes to a grant, potentially a grant program from the federal government, which we had applied. It was the CMAQ funding, which is really around improving air quality. And one of the things that was through the El Paso MPO, and one of the things that's nice about, I guess I want to say if there's an advantage of the El Paso MPO is that they cover the state of New Mexico in Sunland Park and into Anthony. And there are, while a majority of the El Paso MPO board members are from El Paso County and the state of Texas, there are a few of us in New Mexico, and we do have specific funding that can come for us. And so anyhow, the SCRTD takes advantage of that, being able to take some of that money and use it for transportation services. And so they had applied for a grant for additional fully electric buses. Unfortunately, it sounds like there's some changes that are coming, like I said, from the federal government, where they are almost frowning on full electric vehicles these days with the change in administration. And so we had to amend we amended the grant application. Instead of doing full EV buses, that we are now requesting hybrid buses and vehicles. So the silver lining is that instead of getting 2 full electric buses, we're now requesting, because of the cost, we'll be looking to get 3 hybrid vehicles, which then can help with some of the long haul routes. So that was probably the biggest thing we discussed. The other one is on April 22nd in a couple of weeks, I'd like to extend an invitation. I know it's during our, or right after our BOCC meeting, but they will be having a ribbon cutting for their energy, what they call their energy facility and down in Sunland Park. It's their new depot or station where they can fully charge their buses that particularly run from Sunland Park into El Paso. One of the cool things is that's just one of the first phases of what the SCRTD is doing. The other part is they've got grant funding to do a microgrid system with solar to try to offset a majority of their energy usage down in Sunland Park. And so while they're doing the ribbon cutting for the charging and the facility, the microgrid is kind of still down the road. They're still working on getting that constructed. But anyways, April 22nd is that event. And so if you want more information, please reach out to myself or David Armijo. Sorry, the other item was the Mesilla Valley MPO did have a closed session board meeting to discuss the new contract for the executive director. It was a very short meeting, but that will come up for consideration at the next Mesilla Valley MPO meeting here in April. So those are the only two updates I have, Mr. Chairman.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll give an update. So South Central Solid Waste Authority is kind of going through a similar thing. I know that the job posting for executive director has been posted on online. We are looking, it is a nationwide search as well as a statewide search. So we are looking. Besides that, we had a great conversation regarding future plans as well as capital improvements to South Central Solid Waste Authority and what we're doing. But since we are looking for a new executive director, things have kind of been slow rolling just until we get that position filled. Besides that, that's really everything going on with South Central. Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Reynolds.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Last week, or March 28th, at CRUA, we actually had a training for all of the board members to explain to them what our roles were, what our responsibilities were as CRUA board members. It went from 11 o'clock until 2 o'clock on the 28th of March. It was a pretty good meeting. On last week, just going to get to the right place here. Just 1 second. We also had the Colquitt luncheon where everybody from both Chaparral and Chaparral from Otero County and Doña County sat with the residents to tell them what's going on there. Additional meetings that we have tomorrow morning, we have a MRVDA meeting at 9 o'clock at the MRVDA Center. Let's see what else we got here. On Saturday, there's a Talavera community meeting at the fire station in Talavera that starts at 5:30, 6 o'clock. They have a potluck, and then we have a discussion there as to what's going on for Talavera. Let's see what else we got here. On the next Monday, we also have a Chaparral community meeting at 6 o'clock at Betty McKnight in Chaparral. Sunland Park has a meeting as well the next day in Sunland Park at, let's see the time on this, just a minute. At 6 o'clock as well to talk about emergency services. And then what else before the next meeting? And that's about all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioner?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have anything to report on committees, but I just want to let the board know that since I was appointed to the CRUA board, there is a meeting coming up on Monday. I believe it's the 14th, which I won't be able to attend because I will be attending the New Mexico Counties Conference in Rio Doso. So I will be missing out on that meeting, but I'm hoping, thank you, Commissioner Reynolds, starting in May, I will start to be able to go into the meetings unless they surprise me with these special meetings on Fridays. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for the update. Okay. Any other board report backs? Anything from staff today?
No, sir.
Perfect. Moving right along. Okay, next up is minutes, where the commission will be asked to approve minutes from March 25th, 2025 for our regular BOCC meeting, as well as the work session on April 1st. Do we have a motion?
I'll move approval. Sanchez.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Sanchez, a second by Commissioner Reynolds. Any comments, questions, concerns? Public comment? Brandy?
Commissioner Gameros?
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro?
Yes.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez?
Yes. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. I've been asked for a 15-minute break. If we can please come back around 10:50. Sorry. I know. Thank you, everyone.
I'm gonna have to.
Okay,
All right. Good morning, Mr.
Okay.
Chair and Commissioners.
welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Today I have before you.
Let me get a motion really quick
All right.
for the approval. Okay, we have our resolution to establish Public Arts Advisory Board policy in Doña County.
Move to approve, Sanchez.
We have a motion by Commissioner Sanchez, and I will. And a second by Vice Chair Chaparro. Deb, welcome.
Thank you. I'm before you today to request approval of this resolution to establish the Public Art Advisory Board for the county. As you'll recall, back in January of this year, you established a resolution to create the Public Art Advisory Board as well as the funding mechanism to support art in public places for Doña County. So for those who may not have been watching on that meeting, I'll just do a brief recap that the goals of the board were to promote the civic, educational, and cultural value of art, to honor the diversity of our heritage in the county, and to represent that through art in public places. This board also established the funding mechanism in accordance with state law, and that allocates 1% into a fund for public art that will be allocated based on any project or renovation, construction over $100,000. So today, we're asking you to approve a policy that will provide more guidelines for the establishment of that Public Art Advisory Board. The previous resolution said that there would be 9 members. In discussion with various individuals, the recommendation is that we continue with 9 members and that 7 of those be at-large members and that 2 commissioners participate as members of the board. We would like to establish this advisory board effective July 1. That would give us time to go out and advertise and solicit letters of interest. They will serve for 2-year terms. For this first round, though, we would have staggered terms, 3 people with 1-year terms and 4 people with 2-year terms. In succeeding years, it will be 2-year terms for everyone. The recommendation is that the bylaws for the Public Advisory Board be brought before the commission for commission approval and finalization. And those rules, in addition to the establishing minutes and things of that nature, determining who chair, vice chair, secretary are, there would also be an establishment of a minimum number of meetings. And this resolution also directs the Public Art Advisory Board to develop a master plan for public art. So I stand for any questions you may have.
Any comments or questions, commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I think it's a great idea, by the way. I think it's a great concept. I'm looking forward to actually getting engaged in supporting public art throughout the community, because I think that where we have art, I think we also discourage or provide the opportunity for people to be creative, but we also discourage vandalism a lot of times by doing that. So if people know that there's a creative way they can participate in providing the art that they enjoy, whatever that is, then I think this will help us a lot. One of the things I think we should also think about is possibly creating a tag wall someplace in the county and some of the communities, because I find that when people want to tag something, if there's something available that is a form of art that we can provide for them, like a block wall or something, they tend to go and tag that multiple times, you know, one over the other and stuff, instead of tagging other buildings. So I think if we use if we use this committee correctly, I think it's going to benefit everyone, and also make us look like a county that cares about art. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Wonderful.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner.
I'm excited. I know this is kind of the next step. We've done the initial plan as Ms. Weir was talking about with passing the ordinance now. I'm excited that we're moving on to getting the board, and that way we can start moving forward with some of these projects. I know that's been one of the things that I've had constituents ask about is how do we start using our public places to really be able to brighten up our neighborhoods. And not just that, I know we see quite a bit that actually having art in places actually can reduce vandalism and potentially crime in some of those areas. We've seen it I know in Doña, where we have already allowed murals and some of the other artwork. While it's not official, some large art projects, it still allows us to be able to share that, and we've seen some improvement there. So I'm excited for the next phase. So thank you, Ms. Weir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Of course, and along those same lines, you know, we've talked about this quite a bit. This is the third time that this is coming in front of us. I'm really excited. And I do want to again give a shout out to Mary Louise and to Garrett and to our staff who really did do a lot of work on this. It was really excited. I know that's one of the projects that Commissioner Sanchez and I kind of just threw at them and they ran with it. And I want to thank you, Deb, for really kind of embracing it as well. And to Mr. Lopez as well, who has embraced it fully. And I hope that there's some really great conversations with the community going forward that kind of not only represents the communities themselves and the identity of each community, but also works with them to make sure that we are representing Doña as a whole as well. So I'm really excited for the future on this, and I'm really excited to, I don't know, to get this board going. And this is something that I'm really passionate about, and I think it's going to be a great thing to have. And yeah, I'm definitely excited. So. Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, do we have any public comment on this?
Mr. Chair, if
Yes,
I
of
might,
course.
I wanted to put out a special thanks to Irene Oliver Lewis, who helped educate me
Yes.
on this process. And I believe we also have Ceci from the city of Las Cruces here. If you could come on up. Ceci.
Aw.
She was also instrumental in sharing what the city has done and giving me a lot of guidance. So thank you very much for helping me get going.
Well, I didn't expect to come up and say anything, but I'm really excited that the county is taking this on. And I think there's so much opportunity for collaboration with the city and doing our public art. And yeah, it's super exciting. So thank you so much.
Wonderful, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, of course. Any public comment? Oh, welcome.
Yes, again, Justin Weaver with Facilities and Services. I would just like to take the time to thank you guys for, looking at this and going ahead and approving this. I feel that this will not only be great for the county at large, but the facilities that I represent. This is something that I would like to see in a lot of these facilities, especially the ones where we're really creating some great spaces for people, some very interesting architecture, and I feel that these artworks and stuff that we will implement will enhance those facilities. So, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. I'm liking you more and more, dude. You're awesome. I like it. Cool. Anyone else? Okay, Brandy, take it away.
And I do apologize, I came into the meeting a little late after the break. Did the motion and second?
Oh yeah, I motioned and I seconded it.
I don't know about that one.
Told you it's Chris's rules of order now. No, it was Commissioner Sanchez and then Vice Chair Chaparro.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome, I tried.
Commissioner Gameros? Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes.
Commissioner Chaparro?
Yes.
I apologize. Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro?
Yes.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez?
Yes.
That does have a resolution number. The number is 2025-48.
2025 term, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Chair Chaparro and a second by Commissioner Gameros. Take it away, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fellow commissioners, I'm stepping down from this board due to family obligations and conflicting schedules, and I would appreciate anybody taking my position on that board. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, commissioners, do we have a willing victim? Oh, volunteer, sorry.
I'm already on that board.
You are already on that board. Commissioner Sanchez is also on that board. I was previously on that board. Commissioner Reynolds, do you have any interest in being on that board?
No, sir. I was actually previously on that board as well for the first 2 years of my term.
So one thing that I am trying to avoid is me being on that board since Russell is also on that board as mayor. I don't necessarily know if that's the best situation. So I definitely would not want to sit on that board just because of that conflict.
And Mr. Chair, in the alternative, I don't know if this would work, but maybe every other month for me. That's the best I can do at this point because of certain family obligation schedules. And I wish I could help out, but there's priorities.
Okay. No, of course.
And since I took Spaceport, Commissioner Reynolds. Yes, I'm eyeballing you, Commissioner.
Oh, I'll move out of the way then. I want a straight shot if that's good. So where do we want to go, Commissioners? Reynolds, are you okay with being on it, or?
Mr. Chair, if you want to share the responsibility where we do it every other month, I can try to do that.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that then.
Just let me know which months are mine.
And Mr. Commissioner Reynolds, if you could take over this month, I'd appreciate it very, very much.
Okay, give me
Thank
the
you.
details. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I think there's no problem with, I think the only requirement for the Mississippi Valley MPO is that it has to be one of the electeds that has to go. I almost even want to entertain, I don't know if it can be any of the other outside the commissioners. I don't know that we want that, but at least for now, if there's a way to have Commissioner Reynolds fill in on occasion, that should suffice. So thank you.
Perfect.
And Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Reynolds.
Loving it. Okay, so we are going to amend the resolution for the MPO position, and we are going to have the vice chair / Commissioner Reynolds. And Andrew is going to love it. Something tells me. Cool. Any comments?
Yes, sir. I was actually on that board when Andrew took over.
One more time?
I said I was on that board when Andrew took over 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. Perfect. Anything else? Seeing none. Any public comment on this? Also seeing none. Brandy, take it away.
Commissioner Gameros,
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro,
Yes.
Chair Shaldo Hernandez.
Yes.
That
Motion
does have a
carries.
resolution number.
Go ahead.
That is 2025-49.
Thank you so much. Okay. Next up is the item number 15, which is the summer enrichment program options and discussion. Since it's a discussion, it does not need a motion, so we can just move into discussion. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is going to be a fast and furious program this year. I became aware that the program might have been dropped this year, and so I moved forward with chatting with the superintendents of schools, and other community members joined, which was so exciting to me. I have numbers from last year of the students who participated in the summer enrichment program. There were 1,524 students participating in this temporary employment of students during the summer, 1,065 from the Las Cruces Public Schools, 398 from the Gadsden Independent School District, and 61 students from Hatch Valley Public Schools. There was a meeting on April 4th, I believe, April 4th, and to risk losing this program, community members came forth to help, and I'm so excited by the collaboration. I'm so excited by the commitment of community members to come forth and come up with different solutions. This is not the perfect program this year, I will admit that, but we have the opportunity and the motivation and the partnerships to move forward. It is so important in my mind to keep this very important youth initiative. It's the largest I've seen in this county ever, because we're touching 1,524 students. I also have been in touch with the governor's office. I anticipate we'll be receiving a few million, I hope, crossing our fingers this week. But I'd like to give thanks to Chair Shaldo Hernandez. He was at the meeting. We had Carrie Neal, Ashley Zuniga, Meg Haynes, Deb Weir, Jonathan Macias, Stephen Lopez, Scott Andrews, Mario Juarez Infante on behalf of the City of Sunland Park, Debbie Moore from the Las Cruces Chamber. We had Ikani Taumau, is that how you pronounce that? Jose Vargas and Libing He from the City of Las Cruces. We had Ignacio Ruiz, Superintendent of LCPS. Also Gabriela Alanis from the same school district. Michael Chavez, Superintendent of Hatch Valley. Fernando Sanchez from Hatch Valley. And what was done at that meeting, there will be another meeting on April 4th at 1 p.m., but what was done at that meeting, ideas were exchanged. People took the opportunity to be able to volunteer and move forward with certain pieces of this program, and also go over the challenges that this program might have. Let me tell you why I was so excited, because the schools really know on a daily basis how these children are impacted. And a 6-week internship program gives kids the opportunity to earn $3,000. And some of our students are using it for food or rent to help their families or for clothing. And so I think it's so important to continue with this program. These people that joined the meeting are so excited to move forward and to move forward as a community, not just the county, but we're adding the school districts, we're adding every single representative of municipalities in this county. And I received a call from the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. They want to join and help us with whatever resources or manpower or businesses that they have. And so to move forward with this program and make it bigger, I understand that it needs to change in some way, morph in some way to benefit the students the best that we can. But with so many people coming to the table, this is such a great community effort that I'm so excited about. So anyway, that's my presentation, unless anybody else wants to add to it, because we were, a bunch of us were there.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair Chapato. You put it wonderfully, actually. The one thing that I think is worth noting is that the money is still tied up in HB2. HB2 has still not been signed by the governor. So if you are as passionate as a lot of the people up here are in the school districts and our nonprofit partners, then please reach out to the governor's office and make sure that she signs HB2 and includes the money for the summer internship program. I just got a notification. She's in a press conference right now. I guess we'll see what's being discussed. But again, please reach out to the governor's office. She has until Friday to sign HB2, which then would trigger that funding for increased funds for the summer internship program. But like Vice Chair said, I'm really excited that the schools are getting involved. I know that the term career pathways was mentioned at least 45 times in that meeting. And I think having meaningful discussions and meaningful placements of these kids in our community will be a world of difference to how this program succeeds, and how it moves forward into not just a summer program, but maybe a year-round program with that funding going directly to the districts to help these kids year-round. I know that, pardon me, I know that a lot of these discussions are heightened due to the tragedy that happened at Young Park. And I know that this is definitely one of those many programs that can help. And I'm very excited to see where we can go with it as a community. So, yeah. Yes, Mr. Andrews.
Yeah, I want to echo some of the things that the Vice Chair and you've already said, sir. I felt that the meeting was fantastic and everyone was coming to the table, which unlike in previous years where there was roughly 1,600 students processed just by the county, it was a big win this year as the City of Cruces will take on the Cruces School District. We will keep Hatch, and Sunland was taking on the Gadsden School District. So on behalf of the county, and if any of those folks are listening, we are just so grateful for the team approach. We do have roughly 1.3, 1.4 million left from last year's funds from the intern program, which is candidly serving as the Band-Aid to get this year's program off the ground. And then when the additional funding comes in, that's when we're really going to all have to lean in together. And as Vice Chair said, we already have a additional meeting lined up. So I just want to thank the team and thank everyone for helping us get this together quickly.
Wonderful, thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair,
Vice Chair.
I forgot to mention and thank Ms. Haynes because I know she's done a lot of the heavy lifting these last 4 years, and your advice is invaluable, Meg. I was able to understand the pieces that were coming together more clearly. So I really appreciate the heavy lift that your team is doing, and I know we're going to ask you to do a bit of a heavy lift again, but I am confident that this program going forward is going to be successful. And I'd like to also mention that DA Fernando Macias is here, and the program was commenced under his tenure. And I also would like to mention that the public defender, the district public defender with whom I spoke last week, is also very much in support of this program and is willing to work with the county to move this program forward, because you never know when a kind word, a pat on the back, or a mentor will change a child's life. And I have seen very many violent offenders in this community because I'm in the judicial system. And I think if we can save 2 kids that are violent offenders or prevent them from being violent offenders, this program's a win. So thank you all commissioners for understanding this. Thank you to the staff of the county, Mr. Andrews. Ms. Neal, I'm so excited for this.
Wonderful. And welcome, DA Macias. I heard you're taking 200 students this year. Thank you. But honestly, I'm really excited with our community partners where we're going to go with this. I think it's going to be great. Commissioner Reynolds, you had made a motion. Anything to say?
Mr. Chair, I don't think I made a motion.
Oh, okay,
I think
sorry.
I just, I made, oh, you mean a
No.
gesture? A gesture. Okay.
Motion, gesture.
Okay, no, I think this is a great program. Because this is on the approval, list, and are we not taking action on it today? Probably not.
I think it's just a presentation, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all those questions.
Of
whether we're
course.
gonna take action.
Anything else from commission? Seeing none, public comment? If you'd like to come up to the podium, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Let me make a few comments because I'm not perhaps totally up to date in terms of the discussions that are occurring. But I want to just echo to those of you who have been supportive of the program from the very beginning. 4 years ago was the first initiative. 450 students were high school juniors and seniors were basically hired by the county and placed throughout the county from all 3 districts, 450. Last year, you were at nearly 1,600 students. I am just imploring you not to change the model, because there are $10 million, and I'm sorry, if there is any doubt that that money is going to be there, let me suggest to you the way the governor responded when we were meeting with her last week in terms of work opportunities for youth. She was basically indicating that she would work to produce even more money. So last year's $10 million, $5 million of it came to the county. 50% of all of the funds available throughout the state. Not only is this program the most successful in the history of this county, it basically was the most successful program by far in the entire state of New Mexico. This was the model for basically 4 years. Now, I can understand if there's a loss of enthusiasm, to maybe go with a program like it has been in the past, at least give there the appropriate time to transition to the schools. And it isn't within a few weeks period. This is a model. It brought such goodwill to the county. To abandon it at this point or try to change it with only a few weeks of flexibility is going to be a real challenge. And the challenge will be, will we hire as many children? Do we have the coordinated placement for all of these children throughout the county that has been developed over a 4-year period? So perhaps there is some discussion, but when I hear that the county is taking over the Hatch area, there are only 61 students from the Hatch area out of the nearly 1,600. So I'm not quite clear if that really conveys to the public the ongoing commitment to this area. And part of the passion for it is because this is really an anti-crime initiative. It has always been to promote the employment of young people, to give them those opportunities. I'm just encouraging you that we shouldn't talk about it in terms of, well, we'll transition it, somehow there's all these partners. Really, that in itself begs for the county to continue on the same path. So many people are willing to step into the void that is being created by the county not going forward with a model that it has historically used. No one other than the county can put the program together so quickly. And so I keep on hearing that there was confusion over as to how much money there would be available, whether House Bill 2 is going to be signed. This money is absolutely no danger. And I know that legislators supported this effort to basically make sure that there was another $10 million to advance the program. I don't think that there's other programs around the state that will, certainly they're aware of the history of the county and what the county has been able to achieve. And yes, there may be other efforts to try to gain more money for other parts of the state, but I know that the governor committed herself, because of the incident that you identified, to come up with even more money to basically expand the numbers here in Doña County. So I'm asking you to be just very careful to not try to transition it in a way that actually diminishes the potential numbers. It shouldn't be 1,600 this year. It should be 2,000 students, because there are plenty of 15-year-olds that could be incorporated into the program as well. So if you were committed to it before, stay the course. Stay the course even just this one last summer. And then if, again, for whatever reason, you want to transition away from it to the schools, well, then give them the appropriate period of time in which to get organized for it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Williams. I'm the president and CEO for the Bridge of Southern New Mexico. And I do want to thank Mr. Macias for being such a champion for this program 4 years ago, and for all of you for being so much in support. I wasn't exactly sure what my place was going to be here today, but I'm glad that you're still on board for this internship program and that everybody feels so passionately about it, because internships are very important to the youth in our community. And as you said, Commissioner Chaparro, a lot of these students are so dependent on this income just to assist their families. And I say that all the time with the missions we're working at currently with the Bridge. It's to get more students employed earlier so that they are able to get to work, because that is so important, because many of them are not able to participate in programs, unpaid internship programs, in which they could be learning very important skills for their future careers, because they need to work at paying jobs that really probably have nothing to do with what their interests are. So I'm just here to tell you today that as the representative for the Bridge and for Ms. Debbie Moore with the Greater Las Cruces Chamber of Commerce, that We are in support in any way that you all need us to facilitate and assist with this program. So, and I also wanted to share with you that right now I have 2 amazing interns, and I'm happy to take probably 2 interns from this program as well, because I'm losing mine in May because they're both going to be seniors. But one of them chose as her capstone project to create a database of employers that are willing to work with interns. And she's going to be doing research by herself to be learning about asking employers if they're willing to keep an intern paid on their own, so that might take some heat off. And maybe anyone that's listening perhaps could just be willing to take interns and pay them on their own, because there are a lot of great students out there that need employment for the summer. So, anything else? All right.
Any other public comment?
Chair. It's not necessarily public comment, but I will just say, as somebody that sits on Ms. Hoffman's board, and we have identified the last 4 years, and also somebody that wrote these grants in other states in terms of connecting the internship opportunities, is that what has been said previously is that we did have a lot of trajectory and growth in this program. And I think, as Commissioner Chaparro said so eloquently, it was something beautiful to see the many members of the community step in and say that they really wanted to continue and take on the baton or the charge to be able to take more of those interns. And that's what we are really seeking to try to do. Is it has grown beyond what we first envisioned here at the county. It definitely put a strain on our core operations here at the county year after year, and we found a way to make do, but it did mean that some things went months and sometimes longer by the wayside until we were able to come back to our critical and core services. And one other thing that should be mentioned is we've been working not only directly with the New Mexico PEDS office, but also other stakeholders, is that this year they really want to see the impact and what is considered longitudinal. Commissioner Chaparro, I think we talked about how they wanted track based on NOVA number, because I think the new Secretary Padilla is wanting to see the true impact, to see if this is working as a good diversionary method, to see maybe even if the students that were participatory last 4 years, if it had an impact. But I think the schools and we are also interested in how do we send them on a trajectory for career readiness, together with the millions, if not billions of dollars that are spent on education, in conjunction with all the money that's already going with the superintendents as well. And so we want to be able to see that alignment. It also works into our economic development portfolios. So us being able to say, how do we prepare them for the in-demand occupations, not only in the south, but in the center and the north of the county, and being able to not just give them a leg up, but give them true career readiness so that they can work and stay in their community. I know this is something that Commissioner Reynolds has indicated as a concern in terms of the brain drain we see in our community. And while the summer is really good, we need to get them to be able to retain. And we also respect that in our community, the identity is that some people do pick onions, but that means that picking onions is a pathway to another profession, or maybe they become agricultural leaders in our community as we look at the next generation of what we're trying to do to support everybody. So we're excited, and we're really excited that we have more partners that are stepping up because of the new requirements that are coming out of the PEDS office as well. So thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. And regarding the onion comment for myself, it wasn't directed at that meeting to anyone, because I have done that. And I have ironed and I have cleaned houses as a teenager because my parents didn't have the money to assist me with gas money for my car or certain items of clothing. My dad is a former bracero, came to Stallman Farms from Mexico. My mother was a seamstress at Levi. And so there was limited income. And I know a lot of these kids have limited income. I don't know about the rest of the commissioners. I can only speak for myself. I've spoken to the interns at the assessor's office. I've spoken to the interns at CRUA, at Sunland Park, at the city, at the county, at engineering firms, at construction companies. Every job is a noble job. But I'll tell you, I learned my lesson from picking onions. I didn't want to do that the rest of my life, and I had an opportunity, and I'm so grateful I had great mentors and people that were willing to take a chance to make the impact on me. So if that response, I may have misstated it, So my apologies to Superintendent Chavez. I will do that publicly. It was not meant as an insult in any way. I was talking about myself, not the kids. Will this program be 100% effective? It will not. We're going to lose kids. But we can save kids. And that's the most important thing right now. And for us to really make the heavy lift right now, we can't shortchange them. Let's continue this program. And at the next meeting, I want to be transparent because I need to, but we need to, the county, we do have the model, we have the blueprint. We really need to lean on that model and that blueprint to continue this program forward and transition, as DA Macias has mentioned, if that's what the committee wants to do, but it's not for the county to say. It's for this committee to say together in a loud voice for this county. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments? Public comment? Staff comment? Commission comment? Seeing none, we'll move on from this item. Thank you, everyone. Next up is item number 16, which is a presentation of the Emergency Vehicle Operation Course EVOC feasibility study findings of the 3 site evaluations performed by Mosen Corbin and Associates on behalf of the Facilities and Services Department and approval of site selection. So there will be a vote on this. So do we have a motion to move forward?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Reynolds, and I will go ahead and second that motion. And we do have Mr. Weaver here. Welcome again.
Yes, back again. I'm starting to think that Robert had his knee surgery strategically to put me up here.
You might want to talk to him about that. Yeah. I'm feeling it too.
No, but again, Chair, Vice Chair, Commission, thank you guys for your time. Right now, this is the EVOC, or Emergency Vehicle Operation Course. This is where emergency responders learn how to operate their vehicles in a safe manner throughout the community. This was a pilot project that was started by our former undersheriff, Tessa Abeda. She lobbied at the state of New Mexico and received $200,000 for planning and design. With that, we engaged with Mosen and Corbin, who I have here, John Montoya and Alyssa Cordova. They were the ones that provided the feasibility study for us. We looked at 3 different sites, one of being the Santa Teresa Jetport, the fairgrounds, and one facility over in Luna County, which is a road course operation, or excuse me, a race course. That facility, is designed for a certain type of vehicle, and it doesn't incorporate everything which we're trying to do with this facility. The nearest facility that we have is up in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So that's where we feel that will work as a centralized hub to serve not only Dasso and Doña Fire, but the city of Las Cruces and the surrounding municipalities. So regarding the feasibility study, I have John and Alyssa here. If you guys have any questions as to where or how we got to this feasibility study and our final site selection, there was a scoring process in which we have selected the Doña County Fairgrounds. So I'll just open it up to you guys to see if there's any questions.
Mr. Chair.
Of course.
I think I may have misunderstood what you said. You said that we currently use something in Santa Fe?
No, we currently utilize one that is over in Luna County, and that facility is not designed to incorporate all of emergency vehicle operations. That is the closest one that is actually designed to incorporate all vehicles. So that is up in the northern part of the state, and that's where we feel that having a facility like this in the southern part of the state will serve us greatly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other thoughts, commissioners? So it seems like the suggestion is to use the fairgrounds as the site for the EVOC?
Yes, sir. So we currently have our Dasso Academy, our training out there. We looked at multiple aspects as to how this might function. We looked at utilities, closest amenities, all that sort of thing. So that's where we looked at the 3 sites, but with the scoring, our fairgrounds has come in at that #1 placement.
Okay. And what were the other two sites that we're looked at?
The other two sites were the Santa Teresa Jetport,
Okay,
and it's called Arroyo Seco, but it's a raceway over in Luna County.
perfect. Commissioners, any other thoughts or questions? I know that they've used the Jetport for training exercises in the past, correct?
Yes, so the Jetport, due to the weight, or excuse me, due to the design of the taxiway, they are actually able to carry the weight of fire apparatus and stuff like that. So that's where we have utilized that facility in the past for training for that purpose. But as I mentioned, the facility that is over in Luna County is only designed for standard vehicular operation and/or what we would see like police cruisers.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just for a quick note for the commissioners, if you haven't, page 95 shows the three, the scoring between the three as well as the criteria right after.
That's true. Mr. Chair?
Yes, of course, Commissioner Reynolds.
Okay, for the, if we decide to, well, it seems like we're going to decide to use the fairgrounds. If, in doing so, is there an investment required on our part in order to bring it up to a facilities that we need?
So what we would like to do, since we have the 200,000, we did the feasibility study, but what we would like to do is move into a programming and schematic design. With that, we can establish a rough order of magnitude or essentially what the facility is going to cost. And that's when we will come back to the commission to see if that is something that you guys are willing to fund.
Okay, so is this to, all we're doing today, though, is approving the choice and not the funding in order to do the study? Is that correct?
We're asking you to approve the site selection so we can move forward with programming and schematic design, so that way we can figure out what additional funding will be needed in order to operate this or to get this facility going and up in operation.
Okay, and if I understood you correctly, you said that we have used this facility already before, and we have not.
No, we have not.
Okay, so in using the Jetport, it worked fairly well, is what you're saying? It did not as well?
No, sir, not as well. It's only kind of designed to, park or how to operate the fire apparatus. As far as emergency vehicle operation for police cruisers to do pit maneuvers, to handle corners at high speeds, it is not designed for that.
Okay. Next question. If we decide to go this way, which is to choose fairgrounds, which sounds like a reasonable thing to do, how long will it be before we'll actually be able to use it? Are we looking at a year, 2 years, 6 months? I mean, what kind of estimate do we have?
So right now, as far as the programming and schematic design, I think we're looking at 3 to 4 months for that. Once we get that and we can move into construction documents, we're probably looking at about 18 months to 2 years for a complete design and construction.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions, thoughts, commissioners?
Now, looking at the evaluations on page 95, I mean, I saw this earlier. I think that the fairground seems like a reasonable place for us to locate this because 2 reasons. Number one is it's close, it's available, and we can actually, take advantage of that. But also, the investment we'll make there in order to make it the area where we can do the training for the officers will also improve the fairground structure as well, infrastructure.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think it's a win for us to invest in property we already have, already needs it, and also to have it more dual purpose. So I think this is a good idea.
Yes, sir. And I just would like to add that we have already previously engaged with Molson and Corbin to do a master plan out there with our fairgrounds facility to encompass many other projects that we have going on.
I'll also say that the Doña County International Jetport, if we're successful there won't be any time to train on those grounds.
Correct. Correct.
As we grow that area, I think it's going to be busy enough with the area. We won't be able to get access to the
Yeah, we're
facility.
hoping to have that taxiway pretty busy, so yeah, that way we can have this course over here at the fairgrounds, so.
So this makes good sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Sanchez.
I think one of the other things to consider is that in terms of location is not just, I think, where the fairgrounds, I think it's also in consideration of the rest of southern New Mexico. I think we're hoping and anticipating that, and I can't speak for obviously the city of Las Cruces PD, but I would think given the facilities that there's a strong chance that if you had mentioned the closest type of facility was going to be in Santa Fe, that makes us an opportunity. It's more centrally located to a lot more jurisdictions and municipalities in southern New Mexico, which I think then gives us some opportunities. Well, may not fully pay for it, but it gives us some opportunities to not only share with other jurisdictions, but even maybe have a little bit of potential revenue from that.
Yes, and County Manager Stephen Lopez would like to add a little bit more as far as our partnership with the city of Las Cruces.
Good morning again. Stephen Lopez, Assistant County Manager. Just on that perfect segue into the partnership, we have prepared a request for congressional directed spending for this project of $4 million to accomplish at least phase one. We have letters of support from 5 different entities. The city of Las Cruces is a very excited partner on this, both for law enforcement as well as for fire. We also have letters of support from Alamogordo. We have letters of support from the city of Anthony. We even have a letter of support from the chief of the New Mexico State Police, because it is very difficult for them to send state police officers from the southern part of the county up to the state to get refresher training up to Santa Fe. And they really support developing this facility. And interestingly, we have a letter of support from Film Las Cruces, because there are films that come in where they need to be able to do some driver training, to do some rehearsing before they actually go out on the streets to perform certain maneuvers. And this would be a facility that they're really excited about being able to bring some new things into our area. So the partnership has been fantastic. And if we can get our federal delegation aligned with some potential funding for us, this could happen fast.
Wonderful. Anything else, commissioners? Anything else, Justin?
No, Commissioner.
Okay. With that being said, any public comment on this today? None? Okay, commissioners, so we are faced with, do we want to, the suggestion is to use the site that was selected and highest scored at the Fair Acres, The
Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds. Fair Acres is on my mind, though. Shout out to Fair Acres, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, the fire station. That's why it's on my mind.
Because we had the grand opening.
It is because we had the grand opening on Sunday. The shovels and whatnot. Which is even more why I like you, Justin. Thank you for that.
No, thank you, sir.
But is that the direction we are wanting to go, commissioners? If so, let's put it into the motion.
Mr. Chair, just before we vote, I'd like to say thank you guys for your evaluation and your hard work and helping us to determine the best site location. We appreciate it.
Okay. Do we want to go with the site selection of? Okay, well, there was a motion for the approval so that we could have the discussion. So now we just need to add into the motion the selection of the board. Because then the approval was not the selection, it was to approve the site selection.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just wondering if we need to do an amendment or if we can clarify that the motion for site selection just reflects the evaluation of the criteria noted in the agenda item.
Brandy, what would you prefer?
I will do whatever you all want me to do.
Oh, Brandy.
I always figure it out, so we'll be good either way.
That's such an easy out.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to amend the motion to approve the Southern New Mexico State Fairgrounds as the recommended site.
I will second that.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second to go with the fairgrounds as the site selected. Any discussion? Public comment? Seeing none. Brandy?
Commissioner Gameros?
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro?
Yes.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez?
Yes. Motion carries. Site selection has been made. Now we have to deal with the motion that got us into it. So Brandy, if you will make a motion with the amendment that we made.
Commissioner Gameros?
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro?
Yes.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez?
Yes. Motion carries.
Commission, thank you for your approval and thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great one. Okay, moving on to hearings and ordinances. We do have one, which is an ordinance approving the Doña County Lodgers Tax. Do we have a motion? Oh, me. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Gameros. Welcome, Ms. Amesworth. Guide us in this process.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an ordinance to approve a lodger's tax for Doña County. If approved, it would add a 5% tax for any rent collected for lodging. Lodging is defined as, the taxable premises is defined as a hotel, motel, or other premises used for lodging that is not the vendee's household or primary residence. So typically, we see that applied to hotels and motels. It can also be applied to short-term rentals, such as the Airbnb, as well as I've seen it applied to RV parks and other jurisdictions. So if approved, we would need some time to set up a process to notify any entities that would qualify, as well as a system for ensuring that that tax is paid, how it would be collected. So I did set an effective date in the ordinance of July 8th, 2025, which would allow about 3 months for everything to be set up, entities notified, and ensure that the process has been set up, that there are forms created so that we can implement the program seamlessly. And at this time, I'll stand for any questions.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, Commissioner, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Christina, just to make clear for anyone that might be listening, I'm aware that there's people that live at RV parks.
Yes.
That they have people that live there permanently and then people that transition in and out, whether it be a week or a month or whatever. How does the county address that?
Well, first, let me just clarify that living in an RV permanently is not allowed. RVs are not considered permanent structures for living, and that's always been a conflict that we've had, particularly because of just the makeup of the county and the standard types of homes that we see. If you have an RV, typically what it's approved for is for non-permanent living. So if you're traveling, you're staying somewhere for a few days or even a few weeks, that's how it's approved. We do see, however, that there are people who live in RV parks, and that's always been an issue that we have. RVs are not allowed to be connected at a residence. So if you have a permanent dwelling, we do see a lot of people storing their RVs there. We have had issues with people connecting them and having someone live there permanently. In those cases, we do provide enforcement. If they're in an RV park, we do not. So it's really up to whoever runs that RV park to be monitoring and ensuring that anyone who stays there is not staying there permanently. Now, that said, when we implement this, we can determine, obviously, if we will implement it for RV parks or not. And because of those situations, then it might be more challenging to apply it to the RV parks in this county.
And thank you for responding to that question, because I know it exists. Housing is not available to many folks right now, and to be able to live in an RV park for $200 a month as opposed to paying $1,200 of rent. I don't know what the response is to that, but that was, when you said RV parks, I thought, I'm seeing it as evictions at magistrate court. And so I think that's going to be one of our challenges.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, and that has always been an issue that we struggle with, primarily because the building code does not recognize RVs as permanent living structures. So we're kind of bound by what's adopted in the building code. However, that's why we have in our local code, the UDC, we do allow for the RV parks where, like I said, we do not necessarily monitor those. It's up to whoever runs that RV park to ensure that people are not staying permanently.
Thank you.
Anyone else? You know what would be great? Here's my vision. I'm just going to throw it out there. So we're putting the EVOC at the fairgrounds. Wouldn't it be great if there was a hotel there? Oh my God, it could be like Christina, let's do this.
Well, why stop at a hotel?
all for
I
it.
could think of several more things we could put out there.
Oh my God, I like what you're thinking, Manny. Commissioner Sanchez, I think you're on the right track. No, I'm really excited that we got this going. I think this is good to get it in the books now, build the awareness in the community, build the awareness for our team. I know that we only have one hotel in Doña County right now, but that is surely going to grow. So I'm very excited about this. And I'm very grateful to you, your team, to Mr. Lopez, to Scott, to Lucio and Osmond, everyone that got their hands on this. I know it was one of those things where I was like, let's do it. And all of a sudden it was done and on there and ready to go. So I am just so appreciative to everyone that got their hands dirty to get this done. So thank you to you and your team, Christina. But I'm really excited about this. I think this is a great way. And as soon as we start getting the funding that rolls in there, it has a designated use. So we as a commission now need to streamline what that use will be at a later meeting. But it's really exciting. I know that, it's supposed to be centered around tourism / little economic development here and there. So I am very excited about this. I am excited about where this is going to lead us as a commission and as a county. So we'll get the ball rolling, but this is a great first step in getting it on the books. Anyone else? Anything to add, Christina? Besides my excitement, which is, the best.
It is exciting, and I actually meant to point out that once it's implemented, we are required to use at least 50% of the funds generated for advertising, publicizing, and promoting tourist-related facilities, attractions, and events per state statute.
This is awesome. Seeing Google ads. I'm just very excited. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Christina. Any public comment? Seeing none? Wow. Okay. Brandy, take it away.
Commissioner Gameros?
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro?
Yes.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez?
Yes.
That has an ordinance number.
Do it.
That number is 363-0225.
Thank you.
I'm
very-
sorry.
Oh,
2025.
beautiful. I love it. As
Thank
you
you.
can see, I am getting delirious and need food. So this is where we're at today, folks. But I'm very excited.
May I have that ordinance number repeated, please?
Yes, ma'am. That is 363-2025.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we do have commission input follow-up. If any commissioner forgot to say something, please say it now. I have something to say, and I totally forgot until Justin reminded me. We had something very exciting happen on Sunday. We fully staffed and had our first call at the Fair Acres Fire Station. We, as a commission, provided the funding to do the renovations and the remodel. We had our golden shovels, and the crew that was on duty that morning got to throw the first shovel and then turn around and go on call for an emergency. But I am just so excited. That station is going to serve so much of our community, from helping out in the city to Picacho Hills, the Fair Acres area, going out to the fairgrounds. I mean, it's right there. It's perfectly located. So I just want to thank everyone that came out on Sunday. That was the first day the crew was in action. So that was the first day that they wanted to celebrate being fully staffed with career firefighters. And I am just so excited. It was awesome to be there. I know Commissioner Reynolds joined us out there as well. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that worked on a Sunday that usually doesn't work on a Sunday, but also for everyone that made that possible. I know that that was quite literally at the speed of light, we got that kind of up and going and done. So thank you for everyone that had their hands on that. I'm just very grateful for you all, and I'm really excited to have that staffed up and ready to go. Anyone else? Follow up? Nope. I'm gonna just put a little check mark there. Next up is correspondence. Brandy?
We have Gabriel Padilla versus Doña County.
Thank you. Okay. We do have a closed session on the agenda today, so I move that the board convene in closed session to discuss matters subject to attorney-client privilege pertaining to current and potential litigation. 10-15-1H7 NMSA 1978.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. So we do have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll be back.
Please, you do roll call?
Oh, I do need a vote.
Yes.
Chris's rules of order. Then
Commissioner Gameros?
Yes.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Chaparro?
Yes.
Chair Shaljo Hernandez?
yes, and we are in closed session. Thank you. William, you ready? Brandy, you ready? Team, you ready? Okay. Welcome back, everyone. The time is currently 12:34, and we are back from closed session. And I just want to let the record state that nothing was discussed in closed session other than the items identified in the motion to go into closed session. We are back. And with that being said, it is, I feel like I always have to wait until the clock ticks like another minute, like 12:35, or else it sounds really weird. But I love the record. It is 12:34, and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting adjourned.